Please help me welcome one of Australia's finest hypnotists, Dr. Karen Phillip. We are so excited to have you today.
Lovely to be here, Lindsay. Thank you so very much.
Yes, we are breaking into this world. I will tell you that I don't think a lot of my listeners truly understand your work and what you can provide. So I thought I'm just going to open the floor up. And can you go to town on kind of what is your background? How did you get where you are today? How did hypnotherapy come into play for you?
Yeah, I started as a counselling psychotherapist 20 plus years ago, and I was working with many clients, and I just felt that I wasn't moving them as fast as I believed that they could move. They would come in with many issues, such as depression, relationship breakdowns, a lot of anxiety issues, confusion about life, overwhelm, and so on. And with the counselling and psychotherapy, that was good, and you'd move them along week by week or fortnight by fortnight. And then just something in my head was saying, no, there's a better way. So I started looking around and found the clinical hypnotherapy training, which was another nearly 2 years. So I thought, you know what, that sounds good. I investigated and realised that most of the emotions that we attach to anything, we attach. So I figured, well, if we attach those negative emotions, why can't we unattach them and attach something better? So I did the training and started working in my counselling room using hypnotherapy and NLP techniques. And the change in clients that I found was extraordinary. It was fast. It changed their lives in like one session. They would open their eyes and go, oh my God, you know, I've been going to a therapist or a psych or whatever for a year or two about this trauma or about these events, and it's just seemed to have gone. And they were the results that I was finding. People coming in, you know, biting nails all the way down to the core and bleeding. Bang, 20 minutes, half hour, they never bit their nails again. And I've got on the website, the Virtual Hypnotherapy website, even a journalist that when we launched our online sessions, she sort of said, look, I don't want to quit smoking or lose weight, and I don't suffer anxiety, but I do have this nail biting issue that I've had since a child. So I said, oh, okay, didn't have a session for that online. So I quickly did one over the weekend, sent it off to her, didn't hear anything for about 3 months. And then all of a sudden my daughter, who's in sort of the public relations sort of side, said, Mum, you guys have made page 1 on news.com. And it's like, what? And here's the journalist writing a story with her nails as they were and then her nails as they are now, just because of the hypnotherapy session that took her, as she said, 30 minutes. So it's changes like that people, and fear of flying is another big one, not so much at the moment, COVID. But fear of flying is a big one. People that come in with, you know, I want to see my child, I want to go on a honeymoon or whatever, I can't get on a plane. Oh, we can get rid of that. So 20 minutes, half hour, off they go, fly happily away. So the changes that we can make within ourselves with the right guidance is just phenomenal. And that's why I combine the counselling and the clinical hypnotherapy in most of my sessions.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're blowing my mind. I can just see people on the other side, like our skeptics. What would that side be saying to you, and how would you talk back to them as far as this is real, like this is happening, and yes, the time is shortened, all of it. Do you get a lot of kickback?
A lot of
A lot of feedback that is like not believing that you're going to really be able to help them?
Not a lot. It's strange. Most people, if they come like for the counselling for these particular issues, when you explain to them that most of these things, yes, they've experienced sometimes horrific events in their life, and they've tried the medication and the pharmacology, they've tried the psychology, they've tried, and I go, well, how are you feeling? And it's like, well, not a great deal different. It's still there. It still haunts me every day. Okay, well, would you want to try something different? And a lot of people, or not a lot, but a few people still have under the misapprehension that it's entering into this deep part of their mind. It isn't. We have a subconscious mind or an unconscious mind, subconscious and conscious mind. That's it. We all do. And we are in what we call like a trance state often when we're reading a book and we lose ourselves in it, when we're watching a movie and all of a sudden just time flies, when we're driving a car down the motorway and, you know, if we, and I've done this deliberately with myself, I've driven down streets that I've driven down a million times. Okay, today I'm going to particularly notice things in this street. And I go, okay, I've never noticed that colour house there before. Gee, that's been there obviously the whole time, but I never actually noticed that. I didn't actually notice that colour letterbox on that house before. Wow. So if we bring our conscious attention to specific things, we know they're there. But because we work so unconsciously most of the time, and I explain to people, when you were little and you started to brush your teeth, and mummy or daddy would go, okay, get your toothbrush and up, down, round, round, and so on. We did that very consciously. Now we put it on the brush, we can be having a bad conversation, listening to a podcast or whatever, brushing our teeth without even thinking about it. That now becomes an unconscious behavior. Like when we learn to drive, you know, we have to turn a car on, check our mirrors, put on our blinkers, get it into gear, release the clutch, do all of this. Now we turn it on, do it all, just go. It's unconscious. And that's what we work with in clinical hypnotherapy, the unconscious mind. A lot of people say, am I going to cluck like a chicken?
Yeah.
Do you want to cluck like a chicken? No. Well, then you won't. Because hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy particularly, can never make a person do anything they don't want to do, ever. And I've only ever had one person say, but what about this brainwashing that you hear about with these radical groups? Go, yes, yes. However, that is done on a weekly basis over years to adjust the mindset of the person. It is not a single hypnotherapy session to relieve your trauma or your behavior, such as quit smoking. A lot of people come in for quit smoking sessions. They walk in a smoker, they walk out, and I do a 2-hour session with them, and they're a non-smoker. Never pick up a cigarette again, don't really even have any desire to pick up a cigarette again. And why? Because we've helped the individual change the mindset of the way they look at it, the way they think about it. And their mind is simply being adjusted to what they wanted to achieve. If you came in and said, oh, the doctor told me I have to quit smoking, or the wife or the hubby or the kids told me I have to stop,
Right.
and we do the same session, it won't work. The person has to want the change for it to actually be successful. And most of the people that do come into the clinic really want that change. They desire the change. They need that change. And they can actually obtain it and get it really quickly.
Oh, which is so amazing and so hopeful. Do you feel like you're kind of the last hope when they do walk in those doors, that it's like, I have tried everything, and
Usually,
please expose me to whatever you have for me, because I'm hitting walls, you know.
yes. There's even been research done on it that hypnotherapy is usually the last line of help. You know, and even like such as smokers. I've tried the patches, I've tried the pills, I've tried the inhalers, I've tried cold turkey. Nothing's working. Okay, then. Well, let's try the power of your own mind, shall we? And people underestimate how powerful our mind is. They really do. And it's our mindset that creates everything. Our mindset creates the negativity in the way we speak, in the way we act, in the way we behave, or it can create positivity. So it's almost like a universal law. What I put out, I get back. So if I'm going to put out positive, if I'm going to put out kind and goodness, then that is what I'm going to get back. And I've worked with people that have some of the most horrific stories of abuse and hardship from childhood, some very disturbing and harsh events that they've experienced. And I look at them and think, I don't even know how you're still walking on this planet, really.
Yeah.
The strength of character that you have within is phenomenal. So let's just use that strength that you have within, that strength of mind, that tenacity, and let's turn that around for you for good rather than for avoidance. And what we often do is we get stuck in our issue, and we stay in it while we're trying to run away from it. But what we do is we set their sights, if you like, and their imagination forward of what it can be like, what it will be like. And let's walk towards that. Let's not look behind us. Let's not run away from it. Let's accept it. Okay, can't change what has occurred, but this is what I can do. This is what I can achieve. This is how life can be. And then I help set the steps to achieve that, but with a positive mindset and with that old, negative thought, belief, experience, abuse, put aside, put away, quieten down. And it's often that voice in our head that's so loud sometimes that we
my goodness,
quieten down. And then it's like, wow. And a lot of people will open their eyes, depending on the session, and go, I feel lighter. I just feel lighter. You go, great. Yes, you are.
This is on purpose. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we got to go into this even further because the whole positive mindset. Okay, I mainly work in weight management and accountability. So I have kind of clients all over the place, but the people who do seek me out are normally more from let's get fitness and nutrition more tightly, under our own control. And my question is, I feel like we talk a lot about positive mindset and the importance of garbage in, garbage out. Like if we don't shift our thinking, then that long-term success is harder. But what I see is we can go over all of this and then they walk out the door and their next comment to themselves is, oh, I can't believe I did that. I'm so fat in this, or I'm so, and it's like this instant, like, no, what did we just talk about?
Exactly
How do you
right.
treat that person? Like, how many sessions does it take you to get somebody to more positive thinking?
Immediately, pretty much.
Really? So all of it's immediate with hypnotherapy.
Like when you talk about weight loss, I'm a fitness leader, have been, oh God, for most of my life, really. I think I got qualified in my early 20s, and that was a long, long time ago. I'm also a naturopathic nutritionist, so I'm very aware of what we need to do and what we need to avoid. That doesn't mean you never eat any treat or anything nice, but what we do is we measure and we measure what we do and we gauge what we do. A lot of people that come in for weight loss, not all, but many have had trauma and abuse issues earlier in their life. Others just overindulge a little bit too much, look in the mirror one day and go, oh my God, what's happened to me? My clothes don't fit me. So there's different ways to go about it. But again, similar to the quit smoking, the only 2-hour sessions I have are weight loss and smoking. All the others are 1 or less. But with the weight loss one, similar to the smoking, the first hour I spend what I refer to as a psychotherapy session in my sessions, the same that I sell online. And it talks about how they feel. It talks about the reason that they're doing what they're doing. And it lets them, how can I say it? It lets them face up to the fact that this is actually my choice. It's my choice. The food isn't jumping at me and making me purchase it. The food isn't making me select it or eat it or swallow it. I am doing that. So when they realize that it's actually their choice and they understand the reason that they're doing it for whatever, as
personal reason, right?
Then it's like, okay, let's take one, we need to accept, as you said, take responsibility. And what a lot of people don't know is they want to change. They just don't know how to change. So we provide the how in most of the sessions. And the how isn't really that difficult. And again, the weight loss session I do is 1 session, but it's a 2-hour session. And then I actually provide them with a sleep audio, which embeds all the suggestions every night as they sleep. So it refreshes and over again. It doesn't affect anyone else that's in the room. It's only for that person that's done the hypnotherapy session previously. And I give them a couple of handouts and sheets, and we talk about acid alkaline balance within the body, because when you're acidic, it's it's much more difficult to lose the weight. And the majority of humans, let alone overweight humans, are quite acidic within their bodies because of what we eat in the Western world. So we make those small adjustments as well, and they just lose weight. It's just amazing. No shakes, no diets, no pills, no counting calories, no measuring food. It's we put in the suggestion that they will eat small amounts of healthy food and they will feel very satisfied. With some people, it's you will leave a small amount on your plate. Or others, it's like, but I can't throw away good food. I can't tip it out. It's the way I've been raised. Absolutely. So we have the plate full with food if someone's given it to us, or a restaurant or whatever. So we look at what we need, and anything that we're now full, because we get them to eat slower, put their knives and forks down, chew their food and so on. We put it in a container and we put it in the fridge for lunch the next day or dinner that night. And if it's been in the fridge for 2 or 3 days and it's no longer good food, we're comfortable to throw it out there. But we can't throw it out while it's good food, because we've been told, no, you can't throw out good food, all the starving children. So we're in this quandary, this dilemma that I shouldn't throw it out, but I don't need it. It's just excess garbage. I'm using my body as a garbage bin, and so on. So we adjust those thoughts that people have had embedded in their mind, usually since childhood. Thank you, Mum and Dad.
Right, right. And you know what I love with your psych background is that you know that it's not that simple, and yet you're saying like anyone could be coming in with their own, whether it is they cannot pitch food or whether it is they have a past eating disorder or whatever that is. Everybody comes into eating with their own baggage. And it's never as simple as just changing. But what I'm loving about where you're going with this is that whatever that person personally goes through, you're shifting their mindset around it. So it is still very individualized, right? Even though the recommendations kind of all boil down to the same thing. Am I hearing that right?
For sure. You could, for instance, with weight loss, you could do exactly the same session with 5 different people, but 5 different people, their minds will all go somewhere different.
Oh, interesting.
We guide their mind to go to a place, but we don't know what that place is, where that place is, what that place looks like, feels like, or sounds like. They do. And some of the sessions, the removing trauma and removing baggage session that we've got, it's so interesting when people, if I use it in the room, what they say, if they purchase it online, what they may write in and tell us. And everyone is different. Everyone has a different story. What they saw, what they felt, where they were, what was around them. Everyone is different. So a session is a session, but it isn't a session for everyone the same. And that's
so
where it's so great.
It is because, sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, I don't think as professionals, like I know sometimes I want to assume what somebody's going through, and you can't do that the way that you're doing this. Like you said, they go into their own place and you could have never guessed where they needed to go because now you're allowing them to take themselves. Oh, so cool.
Oh, for sure. And when we do relax them down to this trance state, we sometimes, there's an NLP session that we do when people have had something bothering them. They can't shift this or they can't move that. And you go, okay, let's figure out where this came from. And I had a client Friday it was, and she came in and she said, I just don't know, she was a victim services. I work with a lot of victims from domestic violence. And she said, it happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That's where it all started, with this feeling. And I said, really, let's just see if maybe it started before that. Let's go back a little further. Maybe, and she was in her 40s. I said, maybe in your 30s. Did you feel it then? And she's like, yes, I did have that feeling then. And then we took her back. And until she was a child, and she was about 6 or might have been 4 years old. And I said, where actually? I'm sitting on the front veranda and I'm feeling very alone, very sad. My parents were arguing, they're going to get a divorce. They're going to get a divorce. And she said, that is the first time I felt this abandonment, this emptiness, this fear. And it was fear that we were dealing with. But she then brought in abandonment with that fear. And she realized that the reason she was with that partner was because she met him when she was 18, 19 years old. He wanted her, let's create a family together. And even though his behaviors were a little bit interesting, even at the early days, she didn't want to feel abandoned. She wanted to feel safe in a relationship. So where she thought it started 2 years ago, and she would tell most therapists it started 2 years ago, so they would talk about what happened 2 years ago and so on and so forth. completely missing the point. It started when she was 4 or 5 years old. So you can work till the cows come home when she's, 38, but that is not
Right.
going to shift it for her. We need to go back, and we don't know we need to go back consciously. We have to relax down and access the unconscious part of our mind that knows, hears, retains, feels everything. And when we can do that, it's amazing where our mind takes us. I didn't know she was going to go back to when she was 4 years old. She didn't know she was going to go back to 4 years
Right.
old. She was quite surprised, but it's like, oh my God, that's exactly when it happened.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit of work. We shifted that, and it's like, oh, wow, I feel different. I feel stronger. And she said to me, is empowered the wrong word? And I said, well, is empowered the right word for you? Yes. Yes, I am never going to let that person affect me anymore. It's like, because she'd been separated for 2 years. It's like,
Yeah.
good on you. Go, girl, So
Yeah.
we can have some amazing changes in very short amounts of time. Whereas she came to me as a victim of domestic violence, and I enroll her as a client, and we give our people 22 hours of free therapy if they're have been a victim of crime or violence or anything at all like that. And I noticed that she'd already been to 17 sessions with another therapist, and she had 5 left with me. And when I didn't know she'd ever mentioned that, but I thought, wow, I wonder what has been done 17 prior sessions if you're coming in with exactly the same issue,
Right.
So yeah, we see a lot of that. And as you said before, Lindsay, people often use it as a last resort. They just don't know what else to do. So, hey, I'll just give this a go.
Right. And then how
Yes.
frustrating is it on your end when you do know and you've seen these stories and you know how well it works? And then you can hear someone like me come in and say that unless you're in our profession, there's a lot of people that either A, go right where you went with like someone's going to put you in this like hypnotic state and you're going to be a goofball. They don't
Yeah.
understand it's a part of a therapy. And so is that frustrating not to be able to like the word is not officially out. It is in your world, but like there's so many people that aren't utilizing this.
That's a great question. And even when I started studying hypnotherapy, the first thing that we were taught is the difference between hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Hypnosis is a fun thing that you see on stage. It's not therapeutic. There's no pre-talk. There's nothing really. It's just, let's just see and those people do things because they want to do things. Let's be honest. Okay. And yes, we can access around 20% of the population have what we refer to as a somnambulistic mind. So in other words, they will go into trance in a heartbeat. But the rest of us, we take a little longer to be relaxed down. So there is a way, and we've all learned the way that if you want to do this on stage, there are certain steps that we can do to make sure we get those right people that are going to go under really fast. Yeah. So when they do come, it used to be at the beginning, I used to felt like, oh, I wish they'd come earlier. Oh, but now I was able to change my mindset because it was becoming a little frustrating. So I thought, no, this is no good for me. I'll change my mindset. So I changed it to, isn't that great that you've done all of this and realize that hasn't necessarily helped you, and now you've found something that can and will. Let's get into it and let's shift this baggage or this behavior or this problem or issue, and let's just make it go away. And it's strangely enough, I get a number of people that have had bad relationship breakdowns through no other fault, but the relationship didn't work out. There was no, violence or abuse within it. It was just, it didn't work out. And it may be, that the male has just like, oh my God, she was the love of my life and she's gone. Whether they've had kids or not was beside the point, really, for many of these people. And they come in, I can't get them off my mind. I think about them all the time. They're there. I get so sad. I get overwhelmed. And it's an awful feeling. And most of us have been through that. We research tells us that we all have 3 loves in our life, and we usually end up marrying the 3rd one. So we've already had at least a couple of heartaches, if not more, if the relationship doesn't venture into a long-term thing. But we can, in one session, relax them down, and what I refer to as just cut the cord with that person. I do a pre-talk with them, and I do that on the recording that I've got. And then they're able to see that this person is one person. Yes, they had some great times and memories, but let's just not hang on to just those. Let's balance it out as to the reason that may have ended. And now let's future pace, or we call it future pace. Let's go forward 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, depending on where they are in their life. And you are really happy, you are connected. And sometimes they even describe another person that they may be with. Other times they're just happy to be with themselves, to be fulfilled, to do what they want to do when they want to do it. They don't have to check in. They're a free spirit now.
Yeah.
And they're able to go, oh, wow. And I had a chap about a week ago that came in, and I mean devastated, to the stage of almost, I don't want to be here anymore. This was the love of my life. But I'd seen him, probably 8 years earlier, when his marriage broke down. Same, the love of my life. Oh my God, how am I ever going to survive this? I was married for 10 years. Oh my goodness. And we got him through that. Then he met the next love of his life, and he was with her for 4 years. Certain behaviors started showing through very strongly. And then the relationship ended. Came back in again. Oh, the love of my life. I can't get over her. She's in my thoughts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I can't sleep. I can't eat, and so on. Okay, let's sit down. Let's close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. On we go. And 3 days later, he rang me up and he said, oh, I'm just letting you know, Karen, I haven't actually thought about it. I haven't given her a thought. I go, great. That's because your mind knew it was time to release her. So it's nothing that I did. He was ready to let her go. And he did. He got a new job. He was going for an interview with a new job. And his life was going on the right path for him again.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we can have amazing changes very, very quickly.
Yes. And I think when you speak of visions, let's just take this back over to weight loss for a second, just for fun, because that person could be thinking forward and saying, like, picturing themselves playing on the ground with grandchildren, or picturing, in my head, it gets again away from a scale weight, and it's more important what we can envision, what we can do with this healthy body that we are trying to build right now. Is that part, like, walk us through what some of your nighttime tape talk would look like to keep ingraining the importance of this habit change that we're trying to accomplish?
It's more, and we don't hear it consciously because we go to sleep to it, but it's the unconscious that hears everything. The unconscious never sleeps. And I remember, I'm a very heavy sleeper, and I know when my children were little, if they would roll over and their blanket fell on the floor, I would wake up. I don't know why I would wake up. I just wake up and I'd walk into the kids' room. Oh, her blanket fell on the floor, and I'd pick it up and put it on her bed.
Yeah.
And it's like, did I hear the blanket fall? Did I know the blanket fell? And it always amazed me why. And I would, like, when I was younger, there was a house next door to us burnt down. There were sirens, there were police. And I opened the blind the following morning and I looked out and I said to Mum, where's the house gone? She said, you're kidding me. You didn't hear the fire engines and the police? No, because I was such a deep sleeper. Whereas I would wake up if my child's blanket fell on the floor. I mean, seriously, what's going on with that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, crazy.
It's bizarre. But our unconscious mind never stops, never sleeps. So it hears everything. It wakes us up in the middle of the night if we've got to get up and go to the bathroom. Come on. So with the audio, it just embeds that they can achieve this, that they will eat small portions of healthy foods. They will enjoy that. They will be more active. They will enjoy the activity. And we don't call it exercise. We call it activity. Mm-hmm. And even in the session, it's like, yeah, I need to exercise. Oh, really? You say you're a mum of 3 kids? So you never change the sheets, do the washing, do the shopping, vacuum the floor, mop, clean the bathroom. Oh, yeah, I do all that. Yeah. That is exercise. Yeah. You are already exercising. And they go, oh, I am. Go, yes, you are. So let's just add to that a little bit more, what you're already doing. And it's a lot easier for us to add what we're already doing rather than start changing and doing something completely different.
Right.
So we go along that path. But you said about what's sort of in the session. Part of the session is to forgive ourselves for becoming the size or the weight that we are. And many of us hang on to the guilt of that. And often there's nothing to be guilty about. It was something that perhaps we needed to do at that time in our life to help us through whatever it was we were going through. Now we've gone through that, but we still look, we believe, terrible, even though most people don't. They're beautiful regardless of their size. But if they wish to reduce their weight and to be able to move freer and easier, okay, then that's a very valid reason. But when we future pace, as we say, imagine yourself, our unconscious mind cannot differentiate between real and imagined. It doesn't have that ability. So we have a saying, what the mind believes, the body responds to. And a lot of people sort of look at me a bit confused about that. And I go, okay, have you ever been to the movie? And most people, if you've been over the age of 30, 35, have seen the movie Titanic, for instance. And I go, yeah, great movie. And then, and Leonardo, he's under the water and he's dying. Oh, he's drowning. And the love of his life is seeing him slowly pass away. And a tear comes down our face. And we know that Leonardo didn't drown. We know he's in the cinema 3 doors down fighting somebody in a car race or whatever. And I go, yeah, but we are so encapsulated, our mind cannot differentiate between real and imagined. That's where we have our clients, to really imagine the reality of what it's going to be like when they're the size and shape that they want to be. And we future pace them so they see themselves, they see their feet on the ground, what's around them, they hear, they see, they smell, they feel, they look, and all of these sorts of things. And it becomes their new reality. This is going to occur. This is going to happen. And it will.
Yes, the hope part, the belief to be able to get somebody to that belief is unbelievable, because I agree with you. I think I just heard out of a client's mouth the other day that she's like, I know that I do care, but I've so gotten to the point where I don't think that's ever going to happen for me that I've almost just let it all go entirely. And I'm like, oh no, like you deserve this and you can get there. It's just.
But that's because people, they become tired of trying.
Right. Right.
It's an effort. An effort takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So when you're consciously thinking about it and trying and the effort, it becomes wearing, which is where we go to the subconscious mind. It becomes automatic.
Yes.
We don't have to spend the energy. It just happens. And that's the difference.
Oh, go back to the nail biting for a second too, because that keeps popping into my head. I have multiple people who are nail biters who actually were like, please talk to her about the nail biting. And again, I guess it could be nail biting or it could be any habit, but hope, this can go away.
Look, most people that come in for things like nail biting have tried all of they put the Band-Aids on the hands. They've tried getting long nails put on. They've tried the stuff that tastes revolting. They've tried everything. They are really making such an effort. But the reason that we bite our nails is a response to usually something else that's going on. And it's become habitual. It may have gone on in the past, but it's become a new habitual behavior. And this is like, how do I remove this? What do I do with this? In my nail biting session that people buy, I have their hands, every time their hands go up toward their face to bite nails, their hands become big like Mickey Mouse hands. And they notice them immediately and take it away. And what we do is what we call break state. Because when we go to bite our nails, we don't even know we're doing it. And we look at, oh, they're bleeding again. Oh, no, not again. We don't know. It's an unconscious behavior. It's a habitual behavior. But when we bring their attention to what they're doing, they go, oh, I've got big hands. Okay, I won't put it in anymore. You automatically break their state and they take their hands away. And once we start to change a habitual behavior, that new habitual behavior is not even putting your hand up to your mouth anymore.
Right.
But in other behaviors, they have it, maybe they want to stop drinking. They want to stop gambling, these sorts of things. And you get a lot of people in with these, what referred to as habitual negative behaviors. The session that I do on that, what do I call that? I think it's abolish bad habits, I call it. And I get them to, in a very relaxed state, have people really relax down and feel very safe and comfortable. And then I have them go into an area where all of their good beneficial parts are, their strengths. So they recognize and associate with all of their strengths and their knowledge and their beneficial parts. And then I take them into another darker place where that annoying part is sitting over there laughing at them, or whatever it is, depending on the session. But they get the choice then. They either let that part go, or they allow it to integrate, because that part's strong. That part of me over there, what I refer to as your but part, as strong. So they choose whether they're going to eliminate it or whether they're going to integrate it. And that's the person's choice. And if they choose to, most tend to integrate. So then we rebuild that with the strength. And then the way I sort of do it, and I have them visualize within their unconscious mind. And they just like, wow, they feel stronger. They feel empowered, because that's what people are designed to feel. We've just lost how, unfortunately. But one session like that, and they're and I've had people, like in one particular chap, I usually find out when they're in the room what they love, what they hate. And this particular person hated this particular football field, team. So hated this football team, very, very sporty gentleman. Okay, and I thought, okay, I can work with this. And his issue was poker machines. He was losing a lot of money on poker machines. The marriage was almost ready to dissolve. Anyway, he came in and I did that session. But what I did is I added, as an additional part to the session, I added the poker machines for him to imagine anytime he walked into a club, the poker machines were dressed as players in the jerseys and the colours, and they laughed at him. Every time he walked in, they were laughing. You know, we've got him. He can't refuse us. He says he hates us, but he must love us because he keeps feeding us money and all this. And it was funny, about 2 weeks later, I received an email from him. He said, I don't know what happened. He said, but every time I walk into a club, because he'd self-excluded, so he wouldn't go in there, but he felt really confident, so he did go in for dinner with his family. And he said, and I walked past the poker machines, he said, and I just thought of that rotten football team. He said, I don't know what happened, but because he couldn't really remember what we did in the unconscious.
Yeah.
And I just
That's
said,
amazing.
Isn't that interesting? He said, I didn't want to go in either. I said, good to know.
Yeah. It worked. Great plan.
He achieved what he wanted to achieve, and he did it in one session and easily. Yeah.
And you don't feel like you're giving us just best case scenarios. Like, you feel like this is more the norm. And then there's the outliers, probably on both sides, that can be hard, or.
Of course. Some people aren't quite ready.
Yeah.
They're not. And you do have the occasional person, very rarely though, because people aren't going to come and pay you a couple $100 for a session and not have it work. They want to be here. They want it to work. Some of the people that come in for the counselling and psychotherapy sessions, I may introduce them after a couple of sessions to a relaxation, a guided relaxation technique, which is what hypnosis is. It's a guided relaxation.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, I've only ever had one or two in the last, say, 15 years that haven't felt comfortable with it. That's okay. That's fine. So we've done what we refer to as waking hypnosis. It's a similar type of dialogue that we use, and we do put them into a bit of a trance state, but their eyes can remain open. But the effect within the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind is similar. It's not as deep, and it may not be as long lasting, but it certainly gives them relief for what they're currently feeling. And sometimes that's all people want.
Yeah.
Others don't want to let it go. Other people want to hang on to things, which is their right. But if they want to hang on to it, we may suggest, how about if we just lessen it a little for you, just so it's more comfortable and it's not infringing in your life.
Right. Yeah.
The thing is, people say, well, does it work on everyone? If you want to achieve an outcome, you can.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. It's what you want, because our mind creates everything. Our mind creates, if something happens, and I usually give a story. I firstly ask them, have you ever worked in a bank? Have you ever been a teller in a bank? And no, never been in there. One person I did, yes, I said, okay, and I did another story. But most of the time I say, okay, so you're in a bank, okay, and you're a teller in the bank and you're serving people and everything's great. Then all of a sudden there's 5 tellers, okay? I count around 5 tellers. And then all of a sudden a gunman comes in. Give me all your money. I'll blow your brains out if you don't give me the money. Put all the money in the bag. Put all the money in the bag. Don't press the button. Blah, 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 you know, and we're feeling fearful and scared. Put all the money in the bag. The robber leaves. Buttons pushed. Oh, please come in. Now, for the 5 tellers, if you've got 5, say, customers as well, the police are not likely to get the same description of that robber from more than 2 people. Yeah. Why? Because we automatically attach a previous incident or emotion to that person. It could be a teacher that was horrible to us at school. It could be a parent, a grandparent, an uncle that was just awful and abusive. It could have been a neighbor next door when you were a child that was just disgraceful and angry all the time. So we put our own attachment and onto that robber. So it could be anything from a 5'4" male who was tattooed to a 6-foot person, male who didn't really have any tattoos but had a lot of hair, to someone who was bald. It's really difficult for the police to get an actual proper description. But the tellers, teller number 1, oh my God, I can never work in a bank again. I'm too scared. The life is just too fragile. I'm going home, locking my door, not going past my letterbox. Oh my God, I can never go out the house again. Yeah. Teller number 2, oh my goodness, I can't work in a bank. This is just too frightening. No, I can't do it. I'll work upstairs in the office, but I can't work in a bank. Teller number 3, whoa, that was pretty shocking. Okay, unless those screens are installed immediately, I'm not coming back. Make sure the screens are there. Give me a couple of weeks off R&R because I need a break and a rest to recover. Then I'll be back. Teller number 4, that rotten person, that robber, how dare he do that? I'm just plain angry at him. How dare he come into my workplace and threaten me? Teller number 5 picks up a baseball bat. Where is he? I'm going to chase him down the road and knock his block off. Yeah. Okay. 5 different people, exactly the same event, 5 completely different responses. How come? Right. Because we put our own meaning, previous life experience onto that one event, from all the way to locking yourself in the home and never coming out again, to being angry and wanting to find that robber to knock him over the head with a baseball bat. Yeah. And everything in between. It's because our mind puts our emotions and meanings onto every event. So when people come in and they're traumatized, they're stressed, they're anxious about certain things, we know that they have put their meaning onto it for often very legitimate reasons, of course, but we're able to help to either remove, to lower, dissolve, eliminate those connections because our mind connected it to that. So our mind can unconnect it to that.
Right. Oh, that's our takeaway for today. I'm telling you that alone, for somebody to hear that, it is possible to unconnect it. Oh, yes. And you can get guided into doing that.
Yes. And we do it with the power of our own unconscious mind. It's within us. It's within all of us. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Phillip, you're amazing. Can you please tell us, because I feel like I have so many people who could use you. How do people get in touch with you? What are your areas that you kind of promote, especially if we're thinking our listeners will appreciate this. It is 8:45 your time in the morning right now, and it's 5:45 in the evening my time. For you and I to get this scheduled was like a small miracle. My brain was exploding with
anything for you.
You're so kind. Oh, and it's Tuesday for you and it's Monday for me right now. Like my mind's blown. But for us to be able to use you too, because I know that scheduling would be hard, but walk us through everything you have to offer.
Well, usually the best and the easiest and the fastest way for people to get a session is just to go to virtualhypnotherapy.com. Okay. Online and look at the sessions that are available and just purchase and download your session. It costs in American dollars maybe $25. It's not much more for the smoking, the weight loss, and virtual gastric banding, or the hypnotic gastric banding we call it, which is all online as well. There's a lot of information, blogs, sort of stuff about, pain and how to reduce pain within your own body, because even though pain is real, we attach our emotional belief to the pain, so we can actually lower the pain. My daughter-in-law's a physiotherapist, and she said to me, you know what, Karen, about 80% of the people that come in with pain, we know there's an emotional attachment to that pain. So I'm giving out the cards of virtual hypnotherapy, so they get online and they reduce their pain. So we don't really need to see them for pain. We need to see them for movement and recovery. But the pain is just being dissolved or reduced significantly. So pain is a big one. But we've got sessions on nail biting, weight loss, quit smoking, wealth generation is another really good one that we sell, because most of us have a mindset that it's bad or it's wrong to be wealthy and rich and successful. Only those evil people have that. They're all selfish. They're all coercive. It's like, no, that's a limiting belief. Let's get rid of that, and let's open up your mind to accept that wealth and success is your right. It is everyone's right. And it's amazing what ideas come into people's heads after using that session. It's quite extraordinary. But virtualhypnotherapy.com, you can get a range of sessions. And then you can contact me via that site, or you can go to my other site in Australia, karenphillip.com.au. So KarenPhillip, with no S, because apparently a lot of people do that.
They do.
And there again, email is there, and lots of blogs and information as well. I don't see as many people personally anymore. I do in my rooms for a couple of days, but because of time frames, I was doing a lot of people in America, in England, Malaysia, and I was starting to burn out. So I was like, okay, the first thing we need to look after is self.
Yes.
And that's the reason that I did the virtualhypnotherapy.com site, because most people can get a lot of what they need from these sessions. And the beauty of that, rather than paying me a couple $100 to come in and do one session, they pay like $25, $30, and they get it online and they keep it forever. So if anything happens again, or you need a refresher, or another event comes in, you've still got the session, which is awesome.
It's amazing. And how does that come in? Is that like an MP3 that can stay on your computer, or?
Yes, you can just download it. You just get it in an email, and you just click the link and off you go, or download it. I think it's the iPhone, the older iPhone, I think, is the only one that it won't download to, because they didn't put a download option on the iPhone or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, every other device. But most people, but we give them five sessions to download. And I think in the last, there's been one or two people in the last 3 or 4 years that have said, I can't download it to my phone. So we just send them the team just send them another session. That's fine. But the one at night, we've got a really good sleep session. Sleep is a major issue for so many people.
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's and I remember a lady that came in a couple of years ago, and I did a session with her, but I don't like doing it in the room, because if they go to sleep, I've got to wake them up. So I did some session with her, and I sent her the audio, and she just nursed her husband who passed away from a brain tumor. And it was very, very traumatic for her. And it had been a couple of weeks, and she hadn't been able to sleep. She wasn't in a good way, as you could imagine. So I gave her the sleep audio. I sent it to her and said, please just consider listening to this of a night as you sleep. And she said, well, how long do I have to listen to it? I said, just turn it on. She just fall asleep. And why not do it a few nights in a row, just to start that new habitual habit, because she got into the habit of not sleeping. And that becomes a habit. So we have to break that habit. So we have to do the session a number of times, 3 or 4 times, for the body. Oh, okay. So when my head hits the pillow, I start to relax. Oh, and now my mind can empty. Oh, and now I can drift off to sleep. And so she came back to see me with other things in regards to, the grief and the loss. And she said, Karen, I have been sleeping like a baby. So thank you so much. And that's how powerful our mind is. It can keep us awake or it can allow us to sleep very comfortably throughout the night. And our mind does that, our unconscious
Right.
mind.
Right. And
There's
so
some
it's
really
believing in
valuable
that.
sessions.
Yes. Oh, very cool. Okay. So I asked every interviewed guest this. I know that you actually have a whole work day ahead of you, but before I let you go, if you could wrap your arms around any of our listeners or your clients or even your kiddos, like what's one common thing that you would shout out to the world, or you kind of just wish everybody understood more to just find that? I shouldn't even say anymore. What's your one thing that you wish was out there?
Every person has the ability to empower, to cure, to change, to adjust, to amend themselves, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, to benefit themselves and their family, to become balanced, happy, and empowered. The empowerment is such an important thing for us, because when we're feeling lost, when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're experiencing trauma, the first thing that goes is our power. We don't feel that we have it. We feel that someone's taken it from us.
Yeah.
They haven't. It's dented, but it's still within, and we help you get it back so it yells and screams, and it's you, and it's yours, and it's forever.
Oh, so good. Oh my goodness. Thank you. You are amazing. Will you come to the United States and hang out with us?
I've actually been over there many times, did a lot of work over there, based in Nashville. Did a lot of work with a number
Oh,
of people,
fun.
celebrities, stuff over there. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I go there now.
Yeah. I know. I want to come your direction, actually. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
could sit here and just listen to your accent all day. Like, keep talking.
we are so embarrassed when we hear ourselves. It is just, oh no, we don't like it at all. No.
Oh, it's crazy. No, you need to embrace that because we're Americans over here. Just, oh, soak it up. It's awesome. So huge hugs to you. Thank you so much for coming on again. And I will put everything that you said in the show notes as far as where to find you. And we just feel so blessed to have you today.
Oh, thank you so very much. It's been an honor, and thank you to all your listeners for listening. And I hope and pray that they've received some benefit, and they can start really taking some positive steps and actions to re-empower themselves, because they can. Yes.
Yes. Yes. And I can 100% guarantee that is happening. So thank
So
you.
you keep up your fabulous work as well with all of your people. They
No,
need you too.
thank you. We will. We'll both keep keeping on, right? One day at a time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have a good
Thank you
day.
so much, Lindsay. I better get going now before my client arrives.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.